Welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters, PyeongChang. Here we are halfway through an epic Zerg versus Zerg match in the semifinals. It is Poland versus Canada, and it has been a damned close match so far. What are your thoughts on this one so far, Todd?
It's been great. Really seeing the dynamic from game to game with Elazer being the main aggressor, but Scarlett finally giving him a taste of his own medicine with a great attack. And this is the best kind of game I feel for me to see, because we see the whole story unravel before our eyes, and Scarlett really selling that she was going to play defensive with the Roach Warren and the Evolution Chamber at the front. Let him Elazer think that she was once again going to play the economic game, and instead just going for the all-out attack and catching Elazer off guard.
Two very aggressive players, both playing mind games with each other, playing anything but standard. This really is a series that is so much focused around these players making their opponents uncomfortable, catching them off guard. This isn't about perfect StarCraft. This is about putting your opponent in a position they don't want to be and then gaining your advantages from there. And now, with Scarlett one game away from going through to that grand finals, she's getting closer and closer to that championship that she has been wanting for so long. She has been such a consistent player, but it's always eluded her up until this point. Now she's very close. Here we go. We are going to be launching into map number 4, potentially the last one of this first semi-final of today. We are going to be going into map and introducing these players up here in the top right-hand side of Blackpink. In the blue, representing Poland, it is Elazer.
And in the bottom left, in the reds, representing Canada, it is Scarlett.
The mentality has to be rock solid from both players here, Todd. They can't keep it together, then things can unravel very quickly. We've seen it happen, especially in these Zerg vs. Zerg series, where aggression can get across that map so quickly. This is the fastest race in StarCraft. They have the quickest units, the ability to get into their opponent's base very early on. And with the aggression and the mind games these players have been playing, it can definitely fall apart very quickly or come together for the player who manages to pull it off. So they've got to stay confident here. They've got to stay calm. And most importantly of all, don't freeze up in their play. They can't play overly careful. That's always what ends up losing you a game of StarCraft in these high-intensity situations. You've got to stay fluid in your play.
And we're playing on Blackpink, definitely one of the maps where the third base is a lot more siegeable than on many of these other maps. So the battle for the third base shall continue, as neither of these players opted to go for a very aggressive build early on, which these days we're seeing less and less of, because a lot of those early game attacks, you know, on one base, everybody has become so much better against them and in defending them that they very rarely work, I feel like.
The micro from these players is so good. Their ability to use even their workers with perfect control to defend those early rushes. It's something which really does only come out as a big surprise maneuver, and both of these players apparently respecting each other just a little bit too much for that. Interestingly, it is going to be, once again, a few more Zerglings coming out onto the map a little bit earlier for Elazer,
and a
whilst Scarlett continues to drone.
Slightly quicker link speed as well from Elazer, but just by a few seconds. Shouldn't be that much of a big deal, as both players kind of reduce their gas mining here for a moment. Very standard, like you want to start refocusing on minerals mining right after collecting these 100 gas that you do in the start. That will allow you to start metabolic boost, which will make those links much, much quicker.
Tiny adjustments there to optimize the economy.
And Scarlett's making Zerglings right now, actually. 8 more in total.
I think this makes sense. She's seen the 6 Zerglings move out for Elazer, so she wants to make sure she can secure this third base. It's actually just gone down and is very exposed. I think Scarlett might have misjudged this. She's got to get over there and defend that base right now.
This might be a forced cancel here if Elazer were to attack that, but he tries to fight the Zerglings here in the first place for a little bit. Scarlett, can she defend that? Looks like she's going to be able to regroup with more Zerglings and chase the Zerglings of Elazer away. And remember, because he's getting metabolic boost just a little bit earlier, he's going to be able to escape safely here. Oh, he could try and run that into her main base, but Scarlett She's getting overlords, actually. A little bit of a supply block. This is the worst time. 16 Zerglings in production for Elazer, who once again wants to be the aggressor. He wants to get the equalizer with yet another attack. Scarlett immediately, after the 2 overlords finish, she goes for 10 links, starts a roach warren, and she saw those links moving across the map right now with her overlord. She knows that this is coming. She has to make only units and get ready for the defense.
She's skipped the Baneling Nest. She's just going straight into roaches, so it is a slightly greedy maneuver from Scarlett. But since the Baneling Nest is kind of late for Elazer, he's not really looking to punish. Both players are actually trying to kind of jump past the Baneling stage of the game and actually get ahead in the workers. But they're tied neck and neck in that regard right now. And these Zerglings starting to skirmish on the map.
Elazer is really trying to throw her off right now with what he's doing, because he went back into a few drones, but now again gets a lot more links. And I think he's soon going to start running those across the map. He's morphing a bunch of Banelinks at the bottom to try and attack with. Those are going to sneak away across the map, undetected, most likely.
And Scarlett's maybe overextending here. She's going in. She can't let herself get surrounded. She's way outnumbered here. She is going to pull back. She doesn't realize there's already Banelings on her side of the map. There is non-stop Zerglings in production for Elazer. He is going for broke right now. A huge gamble from the Polish player, but I think it might pay off. She's got next to no defense at home.
Yeah, Scarlett was just building up her economy a little bit more, which means she's going to have less actual fighting units. Banelings are going to start running in there. Let's see if Elazer can get those connections. Queen actually walks off to try and buy some time here for Scarlett, who's trying to squeeze out as many units as she can right now. But there's so many here trying to break through those gates at her natural.
Oh, the third base completely exposed. Elazer's going to jump on that. He says, yes, please. I will take that down immediately. And that's going to give him some really nice momentum. Scarlett still ahead in workers, but not for long. Elazer immediately switches on the drone production. He is eager to take advantage of the fact that he's got the third base and Scarlett does not.
And Elazer, yeah, opting to just kind of fall back, focus on building up his economy from there. He's dealt the damage that he wanted, I guess we could say, even though like he would have liked to do more. Obviously, he would have liked to breach that natural base. Scarlett very solid with her defense. Now both players going to be heading into that roach phase, as Scarlett is already getting double upgrades. So Scarlett, she has accepted that her third base is going to be delayed. I'm guessing she's going to be retaking it. And she's trying to get ahead on the upgrades.
Going for the double upgrades did slow down her roach production, though, just funneling all her gas into that. And she's desperate to get that third base back up in the near future. She knows that Elazer is going to drone up ahead of her and have a little bit better mining, as he will have those extra mineral patches that he can spread his workers across, have the more efficient income coming in. But Scarlett only now dropping down her third base. She's building up that big ball of well-upgraded roaches. I think there's a good chance she just goes non-stop roach production, tries to hit with that upgrade advantage, and that potentially could make it happen. But Elazer's not done with the Zergling phase of the game, Todd.
Oh!
No! Zerglings diving in there. They do manage to get one queen, but after that, there might be enough roaches here. A few roaches are starting to fall, actually. I guess this is a decent trade for Elazer. He knows those Zerglings aren't going to be too useful later on. But at the same time, Zergling backstab from Scarlett, dives into the main base. Only going to get one drone. Good defense by Elazer.
Yeah, he was close enough with his own Banelings to make sure he didn't let too much die. Both players have traded quite a few units already. But yeah, looking at the numbers, they're about equal on the economy side of things, with 46 workers to 45. But on the army, it's Scarlett who's leading, and in particular on the roach count, which is very important. If you have slightly few more roaches than your opponent and you take a fight, usually it's going to go very well for you. And I think that's what Scarlett's looking to do with her upgrade lead. Right now, she's 2 upgrades ahead. She has +1 attack and carapace.
That's massive. That's going to be such a big difference in this fight. She's got about 30 seconds until the upgrades finish for Elazer. If she can hit right now, this is where she's got the advantage in that unit count. She's going to try and push in. That's a good, healthy roach count from Elazer. His Banelings crashing in and getting some very nice hits, but Scarlett is being very decisive. She's continuing to push in. She's forced the workers off the line from Elazer. He's pulling everything in here to try and defend, and I think it will be a good hold. Only loses 4 drones so far, but Scarlett's not done yet. She turns around for a moment and then immediately comes back in, pushing into the roaches of Elazer. She's trying to take him down. He's got so few units. His upgrades only now kicking in, but already the units are all gone. The upgrades are too late, Todd.
Scarlett is overwhelming Elazer and might be about to qualify for the grand finals there. With just too many units, 2 upgrades ahead the whole time. Clear Reconstitution just finished a little too late for Elazer. Scarlett starts on pulling back, but not before killing 10 drones here off Elazer. And I think she knows that right now she's in a better position. Economically, she started at +2 missile attacks, which Elazer never did. All Scarlett has to do is just keep on making units and then eventually do another attack with the +2 upgrades, and maybe she could close things out and move on to the grand finals.
She's got all the information right now. She saw how many workers she killed. Elazer being forced to replace those drones to keep up. Meanwhile, Scarlett says, you have no idea where my economy's at. I am just going to make a ton of roaches. I'm going to follow up with a +2 attack because I know my upgrades were ahead of yours. I know that's going to finish way before your +2. Elazer going for what looks like a desperate counterattack, but it would be terrible right now. His Overseer scouts the third base. He actually just saw no workers on that third, or just a couple here for Scarlett. He said, whoa, wait a second. You're not even droning your third. You must have a massive army. He immediately runs back to his base and says, okay, I've just got to try and defend and hang on because I know your force is so much more fearsome than mine right now.
Yeah, Elazer is going to have to somehow mount a comeback here in this game. The numbers don't lie in StarCraft, and right now he just has less roaches, less units, less of everything.
And that +2 upgrade about to kick in as well.
Yeah, this is going to be so difficult. The roach counts. Scarlett's ahead. She's got more Ravagers to work with. And as +2 missile attack upgrade finishes, Scarlett is about to hit here.
Perfect timing here from the Canadian player. She weathered the storm earlier on, gave up the third base, and now is calmly pushing in to try and end the game, driving a wedge between Elazer's forces. His army's been split in half. She's just diving straight in, absolutely no fear. The corrosive biles landing on the defensive player's army. The drones desperately being pulled in to try and fight, but they are workers. They're not made for battle. They're all falling, and Elazer is forced to tap out. Good game! Scarlett takes the 3-1 victory and continues her incredible Zerg versus Zerg streak of dominance in this tournament.
Fantastic plan and performance here out of the Canadian. And a very well-deserved qualification straight into the grand finals.
What a result, gentlemen. Impressive stuff by Scarlett, going through the round of 4. And I actually believe that's her first Premier final since like 2016, and what a road she's done to do it.
Wow, just incredible play from her. You know, it wasn't just, oh, I've got some tricks up my sleeve, which I kind of felt was the story of her versus Serral.
Right.
It was the full gamut of strategy. She was defending, she was attacking, she pulled out some tricky builds, and she did them all at the right time. So the planning of that series, as well as the execution, was just top-notch.
Yeah, very impressive stuff. And not only to kind of have a little bit of aggressive tendencies in there, but also, as you said, be able to kind of weather the storm, Todd, and just actually be able to buckle down against some of the aggressive tendencies of Elazer.
Yeah, I mean, Scarlett's balance from defense to offense was just great this whole series. The plans very well thought of and adapting on the fly every single time as she needed to.
Yeah, very good stuff. Now, the question is can Scarlett go all the way? Going into the finals here, very fearsome opponents, but this could be it.
This is definitely a big opportunity for her. Scarlett has been waiting for that international finals opportunity again. Yeah. She's been hungry for it. It's been a while, but I honestly think this is such a better chance than back in 2016. She is looking better than she has in a long time. We've seen a lot of Zerg versus Zerg. She's going to be playing a Terran or a Protoss in the finals.
Right.
So this is where she gets to show, is she just as good in the other matchups as she's been here against Zerg players.
All right, thank you very much, gentlemen. Time now to hear from our winner, our first member moving through to the grand final. It's Scarlett.
Congratulations, Scarlett. This is your first grand final since you were in the grand finals and Home Story Cup 2 years ago, or a year and a half ago, rather. So, I mean, how much does it mean to you to finally be back on top?
It just feels so good, honestly. Especially a lot last year, I felt like I was playing really well in practice, doing really well, and then I would go to a foreign tournament, I would fly over, and I would just play so bad. So it feels so good to finally play how I feel like I can play in tournaments and make it this far.
So what do you think is different this time? Because as you said, from the beginning of this event until now, you've just been playing top-notch.
I think... Well, I was in Korea before this, so I just took a train over. It was very relaxed. Not a train, sorry. I took a car with some of my other housemates. So it was just really relaxed. The stage conditions are good. And I focused a lot more on preparing for each match so that I wouldn't be like questioning myself going into each game. Like I had a plan for everything.
So coming into this series against Elazer, already yesterday you said you were confident after taking down Serral. So facing Elazer, what was your preparation like and how did you adjust for him?
Honestly, we're friends. He's going to be staying with us after, so we were talking a lot with each other, trying to like mind game each other, and it was just fun. And then this morning, after I knew the maps, I talked a lot with Bly and No Regret again to figure out some specific builds, trying to confuse him based on what I did against Harl yesterday and just change up after the openings.
Well, it could, clearly worked out for you, as you are going to be moving on to the grand finals. You'll be facing either SOS or your good friend in Special. So what do you think is going to happen there?
I think it's going to be really hard for Special to win. SOS right now is like, he's won the most prize money of anyone ever in StarCraft 2. So, and a big tournament like this is where he shines. So it'll be really hard for Special to win that. But of course, I think I'd rather play Special in the grand finals.
Well, congratulations again, Scarlett. Best of luck in the grand finals. We'll see you in just a little bit.
In the lead up to the Winter Olympics, quite apt that a player from Canada, as they're always able to do very well in winter, is able to make it to the grand final. Scarlett with a 3-1 scoreline over Elazer. And again, you know, these big names that are very, very strong in Zerg versus Zerg keep being toppled by Scarlett. What a result.
Brilliant play. What can we say, right? She planned that series so perfectly. You can see that she's giving credit where it's due, talking to her housemates, her teammates, trying to figure out, how do I trick Elazer? How do I outplay Elazer here? And she really did in that series.
Yeah, very impressive.
It's really exciting. I think this is going to be a tough finals for her, though. If SOS gets to that grand finals, almost nobody can stop him. As mentioned earlier, he's now won more prize money than anybody before. Then again, if Special beats SOS, that also says that Special is in fantastic shape. But look, I'm rooting for her. I think this is really cool. This is really exciting. What a story.
All right, well, let's check in with the bracket to see how things have shaped up so far throughout the entirety of our tournament. As you can see, Scarlett has bagged herself an opportunity at $50,000 in the grand final. Do remember that that will be a best of 7 there. As Scarlett, so impressive result-wise. We mentioned it in our pre-game that we think that, you know, this could definitely be the year of Scarlett. She makes it to the grand finals here, still in the round of 16 of GSL, one of the most prestigious tournaments in StarCraft 2. She's got a great little future 2018 ahead of her.
Yeah, and the thing is, she has a chance now to win this, to go further over there. There's going to be plenty more tournaments this year on the WCS circuit for her, as well as events in Korea. I mean, IEM Katowice is coming up. Scarlett is just, she's a monster right now. So whoever comes up to face her is going to have to really be prepared.
Definitely, and it must feel good for Scarlett, you know, as previously mentioned, that this is her first Premier final in such a long time, almost a year and a half's time, Nick, to actually go with it. Almost a drought of finals experience.
I think this is really a story of practice and patience paying off. Scarlett has spent a long time in Korea. She's had ups and she's had downs, but I think she's really hit her stride now.
All right, well, thank you very much, gentlemen, as I'm going to mosey on over to our resident expert in Rotterdam. And obviously, Zerg versus Zerg can be a very fast-paced matchup. So what have you got for us to break it down?
Yeah, it can be a roller coaster ride. And like you said, it's very intense to play because it's such a fast-paced matchup as well. But this was an amazing best of 5.
Yeah.
There were a lot of key moments and a lot of basics that really applied to StarCraft 2. So, James, I'm going to draw quite a bit here because I really enjoyed it. Let's go ahead and jump into the Telestrator as we can talk about something that's very key. Let's pause right here real quick. So at this point, Elazer has basically, he took the gold base and Elazer wants to attack. He wants to finish this game early. One of the things that you can do against that is obviously a counter attack. You know, you want to draw the attention away from the player that actually wants to attack, buy some time for yourself, get more units up defensively. Elazer left 2 Banelings behind. That is quite greedy, but of course ZVZ at this level, you want to play greedy. But this is quite crucial what happens here, because this counterattack of Scarlett wins the game. But the way it wins the game is quite fun. Let's go ahead and play this. We can see that there are 2 Banelings. If you pause the game right here, I'm just gonna get my, let's go for a yellow line. We're gonna go for a yellow line. This is the low HP Baneling. But if we continue right now, if we can unpause, you'll see that the Lynx, actually, they did not take down the Baneling, but Scarlett, or excuse me, Elazer detonated his full HP Baneling. And that makes it a lot easier for Scarlett to just send in 2 additional Lynx, take down the last Baneling, as we can unpause right now. And you see, obviously, there's nothing that Elazer can do here. That Baneling is always going to fall. And if we then clear the screen, and this is the moment where this counterattack does devastating amounts of damage. These roaches get picked off. Obviously, the Banelings could have bought more time normally. That means more defensive roaches. Lots of drones go down. That means that Elazer's attack, if it wasn't all in yet, he is now super duper all in, but he just lacks the reinforcement. So I really thought this was crucial, especially in a game 1 of a best-of-5, James. It really sets the tone for the series.
Very small things. Just to kind of elaborate on that, one Zergling hitting for about 6 or so damage against a Baneling that has about 35 health or so. Very easy to take it down at the very last second.
Yep, and more basic StarCraft here in the end. Obviously, Elazer is super all in after he took so much damage. Scarlett once again goes for a counterattack, and that's all she wrote for game number 1. It's over. Scarlett takes the lead. Now let's go ahead and hop into game number 2 real quick. I just want to pause for a split second.
Okay.
Even though Scarlett lost this game, I think her defense initially against the Lynx with armor, which is a little bit of an uncharacteristic build, is super good. Like, these players, they don't need to see much to see everything. Did Scarlett see the Evo Chamber in this game? No, she didn't. But what she does see with this one little happy link is that these links are still slow.
Okay.
These are slow links, and that's obviously going to always trigger Scarlett to click on those links immediately, C+1. So then if we move into the next clip, and once again, even though Scarlett lost this game, I think she did this so well. Like Pig said as well, Scarlett is not the player to underinvest in Banelings, especially not after she spots certain things early on. And all these links get picked off.
Well, Roddy, I'm sorry, but if you have any more, we're going to have to cut you short. We've got to keep moving here at the Intel Extreme Masters.
That was so much more, James.
We're going to go to a short break here, ladies and gentlemen, and when we return, more action from the Intel Extreme Masters, PyeongChang.